Every year around this time, the same thing happens. You open YouTube and everyone is talking about the market outlook. They go on and on about the big players, the United States, China, Europe, Japan, and how what happened last year will affect our investments this year. But you know what? I think you have heard enough of that already. So let's do something different. Let me ask you a question. After the US, China, Japan, and Germany, do you know who's the next in line as the 5th largest economy in the world? The answer is ASEAN, a group of 10 countries in Southeast Asia, quietly growing while everyone is looking elsewhere. Here's the thing, ASEAN is a powerhouse. Together, countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and the Philippines are producing more goods, creating more jobs, and building more businesses than ever before. While the US and China wrestle with trade wars and slowing growth, ASEAN is doing something different. Its people are young, hungry for success, and driving the region forward. In fact, some of the fastest growing economies in the world are right here. Vietnam is a hub for electronics. Indonesia's digital economy is booming. And Malaysia is becoming a key player in tech and green energy. Why does this matter? Because Southeast Asia is where the action is. Whether it's stocks, businesses, or industries, the opportunities here are exploding. Investors who pay attention now could see huge gain as the region keeps growing. So instead of talking about the same old stories from the US and China, let's dive into something fresh. Let's talk about Southeast Asia as the destination to invest. What makes it exciting? Why it's growing so fast? And how it could shape your investments in 2025. This is so different. Geographically, Southeast Asia sits in one of the most strategic locations on Earth, bridging the East and the West. For centuries, this made it the center of global attention, and not always in a good way. Think back to the days of European colonization. The Dutch, the British, the French, and even the Spanish, all of them fought bitterly to control parts of this region. Why? Because it is a gateway for trade. Spices from Indonesia, tin from Malaysia, and sugar from the Philippines were treasures of unimaginable value. Control this region and you control trade between Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Fast forward to today, and while the ships might no longer carry spices, ASEAN still thrives as an economic powerhouse. It's not just the land or the resources anymore, it's the people, the industries, and the resilience of these nations. Take Indonesia for example, the largest economy in ASEAN. This nation is a story of balance. While its rich resources, coal, palm oil, and nickel continue to be pillars of its economy, its digital sector is booming. Indonesia's e-commerce industry, led by giants like Tokopedia and Bukalapak, is shaping how people shop there. And the country's financial sector, which makes up at least 1/3 of its stock market, shows its strength in stability and growth. Investors see Indonesia not as just a resource hub, but as a modern digital economy. Now, let's look at Vietnam. Vietnam's economy demonstrated remarkable growth in 2024, expanding by 7.09% to reach a GDP of $476.3 billion. This impressive performance was largely driven by robust exports, particularly in electronics, smartphones, clothing, and agricultural products. Notably, exports surged by 14.3% to $405.3 billion, underscoring Vietnam's pivotal role as a global manufacturing hub. A significant contributor to this growth is Samsung, the largest foreign direct investor in Vietnam. With investments exceeding $22 billion, Samsung's facilities in Bac Ninh, Thai Nguyen, and Ho Chi Minh City are central to its global operations. Remarkably, over 50% of Samsung's mobile phones are produced in Vietnam, with export turnover reaching $55.7 billion in 2023. When we talk about Southeast Asia thriving, it's not just because of geography or resources. It's because of the way its countries have chosen to grow together, hand in hand, towards a shared future by forming a dynamic bloc called ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is a union of 10 countries. Today, it is the 5th largest economy in the world. Unlike other unions like the European Union with its shared currency and strict governance structures, ASEAN thrives on a different approach: flexibility and cooperation. One of the most remarkable things about ASEAN is how its members work together despite their differences. These countries have different languages, religions, and political systems, yet they have managed to avoid major internal conflicts. Sure, there are occasional disagreements, but nothing on the scale of the disputes seen in other regions. This unity allows ASEAN to focus on what matters most: economic growth and stability. Member countries prioritize diplomacy and dialogue, creating an environment where trade, investments, and partnerships can flourish. On top of that, ASEAN has mastered the art of making trade easy. Through the agreements like the ASEAN Free Trade Area and partnerships with global giants like China, Japan, and the EU, the region has created one of the world's most efficient trade networks. For example, tariff reduction across ASEAN member states mean businesses can move goods more cheaply and quickly. A car made in Thailand can be sold in Malaysia or Vietnam with little added cost. This smooth flow of goods encourages foreign companies to invest in multiple ASEAN countries, knowing they can tap into a regional market of over 680 million people no matter where their factories are located. And here's something that I'm really impressed with ASEAN. It works incredibly well even without a single currency. Unlike the EU, where the euro ties member states together, ASEAN nations each keep their own currency. At first glance, this might seem like a disadvantage, but in reality, it gives ASEAN countries more flexibility to manage their individual economies. For example, during economic slowdowns, countries can adjust their monetary policies without needing approval from a central authority. This independence, combined with strong regional cooperation, creates a balance. It's like having 10 separate engines running at full power, but all moving in the same direction. ASEAN is also a union of contrasts. You have developed nations like Singapore, one of the richest countries in the world, sitting alongside developing economies like Cambodia and Laos. And yet, this diversity works to ASEAN's advantage. To give you an example, Singapore serves as a financial and technological hub, attracting global capital and expertise. At the same time, countries like Vietnam and Indonesia provide affordable labor and resources, making them manufacturing giants. This balance allows ASEAN to function as a complete ecosystem, where each country plays a vital role. This year is a big moment for ASEAN, and all eyes are on Malaysia. As 2025 begins, Malaysia steps into the spotlight as the chair of ASEAN, carrying the responsibility to lead this diverse and dynamic region into a new era. Why does this matter? Because the world is watching. Investors, policymakers, and global businesses are eager to see what Malaysia can achieve during its chairmanship. Can it push ASEAN to reach new heights? Can it address the challenges of a fast-changing world? The stakes are very high, but so is the potential. In 2024, its trade numbers went up to over 2.62 trillion ringgit or $595 billion, marking an 8.7% increase year on year. That kind of growth isn't just impressive, it's a signal to the world that Malaysia knows how to deliver results. Now, with the chairmanship, Malaysia is expected to drive key initiatives that could transform ASEAN. Investors are already buzzing about what might come next. Will Malaysia strengthen trade across the region by reducing barriers and fostering collaboration? Will it champion sustainable growth, ensuring that ASEAN thrives not just economically but environmentally? And can it unlock the potential of the region's booming digital economy, where tech innovation and startups are reshaping industries? I know there are many questions, but one thing is clear. Malaysia's role isn't just about managing ASEAN, it's about leading it. It's up to Malaysia to draft a vision for the bloc's future, one that sets the tone for the next 20 years. Keeping up with the stock market, it's exhausting. Life is hectic, and who has the time to figure out what's the perfect time to buy? Spoiler? There's no such thing. Markets go up, markets go down, let's face it. Most of us panic when it drops and hesitate when it climbs. That's where a dollar cost averaging or DCA strategy can make all the difference. The beauty of DCA is that it doesn't care about timing the market. You invest a fixed amount consistently, whether prices are high or low. Over time, it evens out the volatility and helps you build your portfolio without overthinking. But let's be real, discipline is hard. Saying you'll stick to a plan is one thing, actually doing it is another. That's where automation comes in. Moomoo's regular saving plan or RSP lets you automate your investments in US stocks or ETFs. Daily, weekly, monthly, whatever works. It even starts as low as $5. The best part, once you set it up, you're done. The system does all the work for you. So this is how it works. Number 1, pick a stock or ETF. Number 2, set your investment amount and frequency. And finally, key in your trading password. That's it. Your investments are on autopilot now, so you can focus on living your life while staying consistent with your financial goals. And this is the best part. Moomoo has an incredible promotion. When you deposit 1,000 ringgit, you'll receive 100 ringgit in return. And if you use our promo code MMTV40, you'll get an extra 40 ringgit. If you're ready for more, they will even give you up to 1.7 app per share. The highest tier of 1 app per share is on a first come first serve basis. So quickly go and grab this offer if you haven't deposited in your Moomoo account before with our promo code. It's a win-win. Start building your portfolio, get rewarded, and take advantage of Moomoo's tool to research and make informed decisions along the way. DCA works because it focuses on consistency, not trying to predict what's next. That's the key, even in a volatile market. So if you're too busy to watch every market move but still want to stay invested, automating your strategy might just be the smartest thing you do in 2025. Start small, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. The Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has articulated Malaysia's strategic intent to leverage its 2025 ASEAN Chairmanship to position both the nation and the regional bloc as the premier destination for global investments. During a parliamentary session, he emphasized that Malaysia's leadership within ASEAN presents an opportunity to forge stronger economic partnerships and attract global investors. He stated, the 2025 ASEAN Summit will mark a historic moment as we engage with key economic partners, including the Gulf Cooperation Council and China. Anwar outlined plans to enhance regional connectivity and economic integration. He highlighted the importance of bolstering regional value chains and regulatory cooperation, aiming to strengthen intra-ASEAN trade and investment. This approach is expected to create a more resilient and competitive ASEAN economic community. Furthermore, Malaysia is focusing on infrastructure development to improve connectivity within the region. Collaborative projects, such as the proposed Special Economic Zone in Johor in partnership with Singapore, aim to attract investments and facilitate the movement of goods and people. This initiative underscores Malaysia's commitment to enhancing regional economic integration during its ASEAN chairmanship. All these strategic initiatives reflect Malaysia's dedication to driving ASEAN towards greater economic prosperity and resilience, positioning the region as a focal point for global investment and economic collaboration. This chairmanship isn't just an opportunity for Malaysia, it's a moment for ASEAN to shine on global stage. And as the year unfolds, it's going to be fascinating to see how Malaysia uses its leadership to shape the future of this powerhouse region. Stay tuned because this is just the beginning. So what are some of the industries that could stand out this year? First of all, I think ASEAN is making significant strides towards green energy and sustainability. Vietnam serves as a compelling example of rapid adoption of solar and wind energy. Since 2019, Vietnam has emerged as a regional leader, with solar and wind energy accounting for 13% of its electricity mix in 2022, a remarkable increase from nearly zero in 2017. In Malaysia, the National Energy Transition Roadmap (NETR) sets ambitious targets to decarbonize industrial areas and promote renewable energy adoption. It aims for renewable energy to constitute 31% of the country's power capacity by 2025, 40% by 2035, and an impressive 70% by 2050. This commitment is evident through substantial allocations in Budget 2025, including over 300 billion ringgit dedicated to the NETR. The energy transition presents attractive investment opportunities, with significant contract flows expected to boost sentiment in the renewable energy sector. Secondly, it's the rapid growth in the digital economy. By 2030, the region's digital economy is projected to surpass $1 trillion, driven by a young, tech-savvy population and a rapid increase in internet penetration. Take Malaysia again, for example. The country is seizing the opportunities brought by this digital wave. In Johor, a transformation is underway. Lands that were once jungle and palm oil plantations are now hosting some of the biggest names in tech. TikTok, Nvidia, Microsoft, they are all investing billions to build data centers, tapping into Johor's cheaper land, abundant energy, and proximity to Singapore, Southeast Asia's financial hub. These data centers are set to power not just Malaysia's digital economy, but also the broader region. What's cool is that this isn't just about infrastructure. It's about creating a digital future. These developments are laying the foundation for ASEAN to lead in areas like AI, e-commerce, and cloud computing. The region's governments and businesses are working hand in hand to support this growth, from creating policies that encourage investment to training the next generation of digital talent. Thirdly, we must talk about the manufacturing sectors as a whole when it comes to ASEAN. The global economic environment in 2025 is shaping up to be a double-edged sword for ASEAN manufacturing stocks, with a mix of opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, ASEAN's strategic position in global supply chain makes it a beneficiary of continued industrialization and trade realignments. On the other hand, as the US President-elect prepares to take office in 2025, the fear of his administration's potential implementation of higher tariffs is very real. Historically, Trump's policy have favored domestic production, often at the expense of foreign manufacturers. If similar measures are reintroduced, major ASEAN exporters, particularly in Vietnam, Malaysia, and Thailand, could face increased costs when selling goods to the US, one of their largest export markets. This could strain export-driven sectors like electronics, apparel, and automotive parts. For example, Vietnam, again known for its strong manufacturing base in electronics and textiles, could see reduced competitiveness in the US market. Similarly, Malaysia's semiconductor and electronic industries, which supply key components to global tech companies, could experience disruption if tariffs inflate production costs. Of course, ASEAN's track record of adaptability might soften the blow. Many manufacturers in the region could explore diversification strategies, targeting other key markets like Europe, Japan, and intra-ASEAN trade. China, a critical trade partner of ASEAN, plays a pivotal role in the region's manufacturing landscape. In recent years, ASEAN countries have increasingly supplied raw materials and intermediate goods to China's factories, which then export finished products globally. In 2025, China's economic recovery remains fragile, weighed down by slower domestic consumption and ongoing property sector woes. This weak recovery may dampen demand for ASEAN, particularly commodities like rubber, palm oil, and industrial components. For example, Thailand's rubber exports, essentially for China's tyre industry, might face reduced orders. Similarly, Indonesia's coal exports could be affected if China's energy demand weakens. On the flip side, ASEAN could benefit if China continues relocating lower-end manufacturing to Southeast Asia as part of its cost-cutting and diversification strategy. Countries like Vietnam and Indonesia, with their competitive labour costs, could absorb some of this shift, bolstering their domestic manufacturing sectors despite the broader challenges. We have taken a deep dive into why ASEAN is the region to watch in 2025. From its unique geographical advantage to its dynamic economic growth, ASEAN has proven itself as the global powerhouse. We explored how its strategic location historically made it the center of global trade, and how its modern industries, powered by its people, innovation, and resources, are taking that legacy to the next level. Indonesia stands out as the largest economy in the bloc, balancing its rich natural resources with a booming digital sector. Meanwhile, Vietnam's impressive growth as a manufacturing hub, backed by robust exports and significant foreign investments from giants like Samsung, showcases its global importance. Malaysia's forward-thinking approach to green energy and its digital economy is setting the tone for sustainable growth and innovation. We also discussed the unique structure of ASEAN. Unlike other unions, ASEAN thrives without a common currency or strict governance. Its ability to maintain unity while embracing diversity, be it in politics, religion, or language, creates a fertile ground for economic collaboration. This shared vision has turned ASEAN into one of the world's most efficient trade networks, encouraging investments across industries. The digital revolution is another game changer for ASEAN, with the region's digital economy projected to exceed $1 trillion by 2030. Companies like TikTok, Nvidia, Microsoft are pouring billions of dollars into data centers in Malaysia, laying the foundation for ASEAN to lead in e-commerce, AI, and cloud computing. On the manufacturing front, ASEAN is at a crossroad. While global challenges like US tariffs and China's fragile recovery present risk, the region's resilience and adaptability shines through. By embracing innovation, exploring new markets, and deepening intra-ASEAN collaboration, the bloc is well positioned to navigate these uncertainties. And let's not forget, Malaysia's chairmanship of ASEAN in 2025 is a defining moment. With its ambitious goals for trade, sustainability, and connectivity, Malaysia has the opportunity to lead ASEAN into a new era of economic prosperity. So here's the bottom line. ASEAN isn't just the 5th largest economy in the world. It's a region on the rise, defying expectations and rewriting the rules. Whether you're an investor looking for the next big opportunity, or just someone fascinated by the way economies evolve, ASEAN is where the action is. And here's the best part. This is just the beginning of ASEAN's story. What happens next? Well, that's something you don't want to miss. If you're as excited about the possibilities as me, hit the subscribe button on the FAQ Show YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of investments, emerging markets, and untold stories that could shape your financial future. Let's explore what's next together.